my partner, and today is a little bit different because we have a guest in a room. Je sais que vous allez vous poser la question pourquoi ça sera en anglais, mais nous allons alterner de temps en temps en français. We have the honor to have Mr. Kabasubabu Katolondi Hubert, the former governor of Kasai Occidental Province in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, Mr. Governor, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And then we have our business partner, Mr. Ude.
Yes.
Welcome to this show.
Thank you.
And Mr. Raphael, who spent like the last 2 months in Africa, going from Nigeria to Cameroon, Congo, Kolwezi, everywhere, and he just came back 3 days ago, right?
3 days ago.
Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And we have our precious Dr. Amy. She's gonna be today talking more business, not medical things. So we are ready to start this free talk, right? Ok, merci beaucoup. Ça c'est, nous allons parler librement avec tous ceux qui sont dans la salle, un peu tous les sujets qui sont dans l'actualité. Ok. Also, I want us to know that we have this book, one of the best information about Congo, especially in the east side where we have the war for 20, 25 years. There is everything that you need to know about the war is in this book. And I will let Governor Kabasubabu present us this book, and then we can start our conversation.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity that you have granted me to be able to share a few ideas with Dr. Amy, Coach Raphael, and the partner, Mr. Ude here, and Jean-Claude, who's himself the presenter of this program. Well, this book here, which is titled U.S. Marines in the Congo-Beni War, as you can see there, it is a fictionalization of real events pertaining to the tragedy of residual wars, militias and rebels, both militias and rebels, so-called negative forces in the Congo, but rebels and foreign armies that are devastating the Eastern Congo. So it is a story about an American, a Marine, Captain Marine, African American, who was sent to the Congo by the Pentagon to be part of the team of the AFRICOM that had to train the Congolese Special Forces. Actually, the book is dedicated to our military hero, Colonel Mamadou Ndala. So the Americans trained Mamadou Ndala in Kisangani. So the story is about these American and another American who's a former Marine. So they boarded an aircraft in Goma to go to Kisangani, and then the aircraft experienced a crash in the jungle. The crew perished, by the Marines, and other passengers survived, only to be captured by militias. And then they went to the city of Beni that had been devastated by militias the previous night. And in the process, they uncover all this story about gold. So because the heart of the problem in Eastern Congo, as we all know, is all about gold, agricultural produces like cocoa, coffee, and also special, strategic minerals such as pyrochlore, wolframite, and so on and so forth. So it shows how there's a combination or conjunction of schemes by the military, local politicians, foreign countries, in a web network that spans from Eastern DRC, Kampala, Kigali, and Nairobi. So the book has been published by Author House. They're in Bloomington, in Indianapolis, and in London. So you can find it in Barnes and Noble online, Walmart African Books, also online, and Amazon.
Uh, Thank you so much.
Sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was brilliant.
Yeah.
So the book is available on Amazon, you say?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
Barnes
online, and Walmart Africa Books,
Okay.
and many other online book sale sort of websites.
So the story of the war in eastern of Congo is in this book. So this is a good opportunity with Le Congo est à nous. You can call me. I have a couple samples here. I can ship it to you. So it's 35, right? 35. Yeah, $35. So it's very U.S. Marines Congo Beni War. Wow, it's powerful. And let's talk about I see the second book. What is that?
Well, this one here is actually the third volume of a 3-volume work, essay, titled The Spirit of Power and the Power of the Spirit.
Wow.
The spirit of power
And the
and
power,
the power
of the Spirit. Yes, so because when you go into power,
Uh-huh.
I mean, power is like a place, like a house, like the institution is like a place.
Okay.
Access, you go in there, you ascend in there, it has a certain spirit that is operating there. You know,
Oh.
it might be good, bad, it might be like an evil spirit or something like that. So that's the spirit of power. But you as an individual accessing or gaining entrance into that space of power, you bring with you a certain spirit, a certain logical understanding, a certain set of principles, a certain normativity, which will fight with with whatever the nature of the spirit that is in there, good or bad spirit. But now the power of your spirit has to fight so that you direct. First of all, as Michel Foucault, the great French philosopher, used to say, to govern, you have to govern, to tame your own spirit, your own ego, your own drives, so that you can be able to govern others. You're going to govern others if you have not governed yourself. So that philosophical prism is projected into trying to understand what is the spirit of power of Mr. Tshisekedi right now in the DRC. So this one was published in France by Librinova, so you can also check it on internet.
Okay.
The spirit of
Power and the power of the spirit.
Oh man. Wow.
And being in the governor position, you have seen, it has a spirit, and then you have got your power in that spirit itself, and you have experienced and lived this, so you are an authority to write it.
Yes, exactly. Because I'll give you a small example. Is that when I became governor, the palace, because actually that palace in Kananga, Luabur, was designed to be the palace of the president of the republic. Because Luabur, my home city where I was born, Luabur was designed by the Belgians to become the capital city of the Congo.
Yes.
So when I became governor in 2011, they told me that there were spirits in the palace, and I couldn't just go there like that. I had to call the chiefs of the place to go there and exercise
Say something.
remove those spirits before I get there. Otherwise, or else.
Taking over.
I'm telling you. So I said, no, I'm a Christian. I'm going to call pastors. And I called the pastors, went in there, they prayed, and nothing happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I brought with me the spirit, the power of the spirit of the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost. Yes.
And the challenge, the spirit
Yeah.
of the house.
Of the house, yes.
Wow.
Because when you see in Africa, when you govern, when you're in power, you are not only leading, devising projects, implementing policies and so on and so forth, programs, but you also fight a lot of wrong spirits. Because they will tell you before you build this road, for example, there's still an issue with electricity in the Kasai. There's a major project of Katende Dam that is supposed to produce like maybe 120 megawatt. But for that project to take off, there were like 35 local traditional chiefs who said, "Hey man, you have to do some ritual." I said, "No, I'm a Christian. I will not do that." I said, "If you're not going to do that, and indicate somebody was going to do that." And then my political advisor, Mr. Ntolo, who is now the current deputy speaker of the provincial assembly or provincial senate, Congress, like the state Congress, he was my political advisor. He said, "I know all these things." Then they had to sort of put some powders on him after a few incantations there. After, "You go ahead. I will not do this." So, yeah, you're right. I experienced
So
that.
before building a road, bridge, the chief
you have to
have
they
to
are part
come
of
and
your
say something.
traditional chiefs are part of so-called informal government.
Oh, informal government.
Yeah, there are so many things you can't do. They will even challenge you. They say, "Oh, you don't want to consult us? All right,
Oh,
go
we're
ahead.
gonna see.
We'll see what happens." What happens?
Oh man, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. How was the time when you were governor there?
Well,
Everything was you have to start from the scratch, or you found something already done?
Well, it's we sort of paradigmatically we are sort of we refer to the fundamental issue of what I always call developmental leadership or statesmanship, you know, because now you come there and you need to articulate the vision and then objectives and programs and so on and so forth. But that before you do that, you have a vision. Not only before you even come with an ambition or projection of what the province will become, you need to give them the vision, which is the vision of how you view the society, how you understand
Yourself.
Yeah, what is your understanding of the key problems of the area? So that by itself is a major issue, because people have resigned to their faith. Now you have to go into the mind and say, this problem, and the way you're looking at it is not really this. I think you should perhaps see this.
Yeah.
But it was a province that had a lot of potential, but you had the issue of local leadership in terms of the communities, understanding that it's the community. They have to take ownership in terms of devising ways and means of transforming, in a sense, in an American way of saying, your city of Dallas is your city.
Okay.
It's up to you to articulate how you want it to be, how you want to change it. But people are still reflecting in the colonial
That the
mindset
government
of
has
saying,
to do everything.
"Oh, government has to do, oh, minister has to do, or president has to do." When you tell them that you can do this, say, "Oh, what do you
How
mean?"
do we do it?
I mean, the government has to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there is a lack of leadership, right?
Lack of leadership, lack of understanding of what is a vision. How do you build the vision, to articulate the vision in terms of ambition, projection of yourself and society based on your clear, truthful understanding of what are the key problems.
Wow.
You see?
And also you're coming in from the other side with teaching self-empowerment.
Yeah, exactly.
The power of the spirit of self-empowerment.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. It's like here is that people entitlement. It's a spirit. Or you say if you are in evangelical church, you have to rebuke it.
Yeah. Wow.
You said something beautifully. I'm from India, so I understand that what
Little bit louder.
colonial, they came and has ruled India for 150 years. And now, if you look at the people's mentality, I can see that it has to be done by somebody.
Exactly, sir.
Someone has to do something for them. And you are always in a master and servant relationship. And now you are trying to change their paradigm.
Exactly.
You are trying to shift their paradigm.
Yeah.
It's saying that no, now you're independent. You can make your own thinking. You can decide. But it must have been a really difficult job for to change their, shift their paradigm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest challenge the society had. You know, anybody can become very powerful the moment they say, "Well, I'm responsible for whatever is happening to me." When you do that, you know, you take the power back.
Yes.
If I think that you should do something for me, I'll put myself in a position of, you know, I become powerless because now I can't do much until you do to me, you know, for me. I mean, I believe that today, those that will emerge will be the one that will actually still and say, you know what, I look at my situation, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and ask themselves a question: what must I do? What must I do? Not my father, not my mom,
Yes.
not my preacher. Oh Lord.
Even not the government.
Not the
Not the
government.
government.
And then, you know, when you're just thinking about, you know, how can I get this done? How can I change my situation? How can I do this? How can I do this? You even feel strong. You feel like, you know what? I have to do something. And I believe, you know, I work a lot to raise businessmen, particularly foreign businessmen, and show them opportunity, what could be possible also for a common person. You know, and sometimes the biggest challenge always get back to what you just shared. You know, the question is, I know we're not meant to do this. Somebody else have to do for me. You know, the government, other people, you know, I was not qualified. I am not qualified. And I noticed that those are emerging, that the one that actually roll back and be like, you know what can I do now to change my actual results? Because I resolve or will reflect whatever we have been doing, right? So it's a great point to hear that from the leader. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based on what he said and what you just adding, do you think if we have a good leadership, that is enough, or we need to have an entrepreneur also, all both can go in the same direction?
Okay, I don't want nobody to shoot me, but I will shock some of the people. Who make a leader? The people.
Yes.
But leader doesn't make the people. Never.
Say again.
People could make a leader,
Okay.
but a leader will never make a people. Because every great leader is the person that surrounds himself with a great team,
Yes.
right? But it doesn't matter how good you are, you cannot make the people. Only the people can make themselves. And the people can make a leader. Great nation, once we won't say, okay, this is a great leader. Let's use a case of America. Better military and all that, it makes the president look good, right?
Yeah.
But it's not him. The people are working hard. So things are moving. You go on a highway, it's clean. There's no traffic. Light, they fix it. You go in a hotel, things are going smooth. Now, you walk away from America with a great experience. Does the American president come and do all that? No.
No.
It's an individual leadership. So I believe that we must raise our people to become leaders. You know, we must raise our people to become leaders. I mean, whatever happened in any nation, part of the nation, really it only reflects the people. It reflects the people. It's not leader. You take the American president, take to Africa, give him 100 years. He may not give us America.
No.
Yes.
But you take maybe, I just want to use America since we're in America. You can take American people placed in Congo. If they function the way they function in America, you have a different result.
Right.
Yes.
Matter of fact, you know, you see, you can see, matter of fact, even in a third world country, the way we call, you still have people that emerge that are doing so well. I mean, they are doing better than people even in America. Why? Just ordinary people. You know, so everything fall back on leadership. We must challenge people to take a responsibility. And if the people really go to work, everything will change in a nation. So the leader is not necessarily the problem. People have to be empowered so they can become an access even to the leader.
What the difference between India and America? Why in America, like you were saying, if you take the American people, you bring in India, you take the Indian people here, you see that there's something is a people problem or is environmental issue.
No, I think it's a, I go back to him and say, it's the people. You want to choose a leader, you better have capable people. So if you have capable people who understand what the leader is supposed to do, then you will have a better outcome. Sometimes people choose a not so good leader, and you can see the consequences.
Yeah.
Right. You can see the consequences for the country. If you have leader who has some vision, as you said, you should have a vision for the country. To take it to the next level, he can. But if you have a leader who is looking after himself, then he is going to take the country down. And so, what makes difference is, again, people in India, if we educate more people, then they will choose better leaders. And then if you have a better leader, then you can, I'm not trying to say any of the current leadership here or in India, right? So we are just talking in general. So when you have a powerful leader, then he can transform the entire society. So he can guide and he can navigate the waters.
Dr. Amy, after the COVID, the world is like going crazy. There's a crisis everywhere. Japan, China, Africa, Europe, everywhere. But in US, it's like something different. The economy is stable and the dollar is going up. There is some magic things that you're doing here, or
Magic of capitalism.
The magic. Well, I think it goes in part.
okay.
In part, I believe it goes back to values.
Mhm.
We value freedom and individual freedom highly in this country. That's capitalism. And so when people's infringe upon their rights, to us, it's a heavier insult than it would be to like the way that India was brought up, where someone else is doing everything for you. In America, I think we come at it from an individual to society. And so we value the individual and the individual's rights and their ability and empowerment to create what they want. And that's how society evolves. Whereas if, like in India or Africa, if the government is taking care of everything, then what incentive do you have to fight for your rights? So it's a different theory altogether. So I don't think it's magic. I think it's what the American people value.
Wow.
I think we value and we will fight for our freedoms. That's how this country was established to begin with. And so I think there's a greater pushback.
Okay. So the center is the individual. Everything go around the individual. Then we have a society.
Yeah, pretty much the personal contribution.
Okay.
Everybody want to play, want to partake in the, building of the nation and individual effort to the common effort and get the current, bring the current result. So it's a very good point. I never see that way. Versa, in our country, sometimes we want the government to bring and let it flow to us. And so I never see it that way. That's really powerful. And that takes me back into the business. Today, so many people really, it's just as if people lose hope. People don't want to dream again. People don't want to do something beyond what maybe the great grandfather did. We have been talking about investing in the United States, own a piece of America, own property in America. It sounds scary, you asked a question about the dollar today.
Yes.
If in this cell phone, I can bring this from America and collect them, I can sell this in America. The money I will collect now, let's say I live in Cameroon, it's going to be a very, very high dollar. So a person who own a home, for example, in America, and then also own a home, let's say in Congo, the home that you purchased in America maybe years ago that worth $1 million. If you sell that and have that $1 million now versus the home you bought in Congo that worth, that is appraised for $1 million too. Even though they're both $1 million, the home in America will have more value than the home that you could sell and get what is equal to $1 million. Maybe in what currency we use in Congo again?
Franc
Congolais,
Yes.
Franc Congolais, for example. So the same investment, but another one give you high value because of the rising of the dollar, and then another one with the foreign currency that is not moving, faster will give you more value for your money. So, and that's why we encourage people to diversify, start invest into things that you can turn in tomorrow and get the higher dollar on it because of the money that is, the value is keeping going up. The dollar is getting close to $700. If you compare that to CFA, $1 almost 700 CFA. So it used to be 400.
Wow.
So it's day and night. Just like if your money is in America, you just double the money, versus keeping into other currency. And since the best things to really carry the money is perishable investment, which is land, property, because it's never gonna go away, and the value keep climbing.
Yeah, I would like to use that as an example. For example, you said it was 400 CFI. So if you put 400 CFI in a land here, say 4 years ago, right? I don't know when it was 400. So if you put it here for 400, and you bought a $1 land here, like you transfer 400 CFI, which is equal to $1, you bought a land here and left it there, your money almost doubled now.
It's gonna be almost $2 now.
Oh.
It's a $1 land right now, which is equal to 700 of CFI.
CFI, yeah.
Now, same thing you said is if it was $1 million, you put it here. Now you can buy $2 million property back in.
Exactly.
But if you sell this, if you want to get out of this now, so now you can buy, $2 million property back in.
Yeah.
So, and this inflation and dollar is getting stronger and stronger. Again, it goes back to capitalism versus socialism we talked about.
Talking about capitalism, I'm going back to Mr. Governor. Why capitalism is now failing?
Well, maybe my point of view will be more, is a little bit tainted by the fact that I'm a conservative, a Republican.
Yeah.
Capitalism has not failed. Capitalism has shown some deficits, it is not perfect, but capitalism has evolved, has transformed itself. Because people have got a wrong understanding of capitalism, for example, even liberalism and even, individualism, that is one of the core principles of liberalism or liberal capitalism. A very good example is given like in America. People say it's a capitalist system, but in reality, Americanism is a very caring system, because in America, most capitalist people have got a lot of money are in philanthropy. In America, for you to be a good rich man, a good rich man must be a good man.
Mhm.
who gives back to society,
Okay.
Right.
who gives back to organizations that are undertaking some project in Africa and so on and so forth. That's why they insist on your tax returns. So they get how much you give to the church, how much you give to organizations and so on and so forth. I know of many Africans who have been here with serious diseases and so on and so forth. They were first taken care of by public hospitals that have enough budgets and so on and so forth. We have food stamp and so on and so forth. All right, but the fear there is that you must being given good allocated food stamp. It must become some kind of an entitlement. You live on it. You have to improve yourself to get out of that system. But even in Africa, where they said Karl Marx said capitalism is going to, he prophesied capitalism is going to collapse owing to its own contradictions. But capitalism evolved, changed, is now look even in Africa when big companies, serious companies that are on your New York Stock Exchange, your Toronto Stock Exchange, London Exchange, they come with social commitment, environmental commitment, developmental commitment in the areas where they are operating. That's why, for example, you see like where Banro and your Moto Gold, Anglo Gold, Ashanti, I think, operating like in
Ituri.
not
Somewhere.
Ituri, in
South
Isiro
Kivu.
there, yeah. You see, there are no militias there. They've rebuilt schools because these rebels were going into militias, or let's say militias. People were going into militias because they are poor. The schools have collapsed. For example, in Kamituga, where you used to have like a Kilomoto and so on. Kilomoto used to take care of the people and so on and so forth. Schools, hospitals, and so on. They collapsed. So these people are poor, indigent. Now they resort to Kalashnikovs to put food on the table. But now when these companies, capitalist companies, they come, evolve, transform capitalism, that has the consciousness of transforming society, contributing to change and so on and so forth. They allocate some resources. So you're not going to depend on us, but we have responsibility as human beings to ascertaining that the environment here is good. So there are no militias there. So we're talking now about an evolved capitalism, which is more developmental. Because even the people who come with the money, they understand that we have to impact society so that these people are not poor. Because if they are poor, they're going to buy. If they are poor, they're going to threaten our infrastructure. If they are poor, they're going to get sick and then they won't be productive. So it's a capitalism that is evolving. Now, leadership in Africa has to be sensitive to entrepreneurship, but in terms of how do we inject into the minds of the people the idea and concept of developmental entrepreneurship. It's not entrepreneurship that is selfish,
Just to make money.
you accumulate,
Don't care
like
about-
primitive capitalism, you know, or you everything for yourself.
Yeah.
Even in India used to be a great civilization even before the British arrived there, like in the 16th century. You know, India had a more advanced textile industry than the whole of Europe before the 16th century.
Wow.
Yeah, so India has got a basis on which it stands now, and Indian leadership has been so transformational, so developmentalist, that Modi and others understood the imperative necessity of matching America in terms of research, development, technology, you know, having those major fundamental industries like your food industry, metallurgy, technology, computer science, and so on and so forth. So transformational leadership, developmental leadership pushes society toward this direction. So India now is a more powerful economy than even the former colonizer UK and India matches Canada and Brazil.
Yeah.
Is it like a number 4 or 5?
I think it's number 6 now. I think it's more than 2 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah, more than 2 trillion.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So India is
Way
doing-
up
India is
from,
India is
Britain?
doing, actually India is the largest democratic country in the world.
In the world.
Yeah, and India has got some of these societal, cultural characteristics we have in the Congo, like a lot of tribes, a lot of religious groups, and so on and so forth. But the pace, the speed of industrialization, modernization, has created like some kind of a solidarities and capacity to transcend all these primary allegiances. So India is a world-class economy, as we talk about, and it's possible to do it in countries like Congo. But what is your paradigm, as you said so eloquently? What is our capacity to trigger paradigm shift to get to in a moment where we trigger transformational leadership that injects or that triggers in people understanding to be a developmental entrepreneur, because we still have mercantilist primary business folks who are selling cans of sardines or Sichuan shirt, go buy shirts in China and so on and so. That will not develop.
Mercantilist.
Mercantilist, you know.
Wow. You said so beautifully.
Wow.
How the capitalism, when we were thinking of capitalism,
Wow.
we were just thinking of capitalism, developmental capitalism. That's what I can see now.
Comes
Bill
with
Gates or Warren
everything.
Buffett,
Yes.
all they have donated all their wealth, and that's what all the wealthy people are doing. And even in our business, right? So before we registered our business, we registered our foundation first.
Foundation.
We said, okay, let's get
Give
the
back, let's
foundation.
make
going.
money so we can take care of
Yeah, exactly.
people too. Not making money so we can have 20 jet,
Private jet.
in the hangar back no, we wanna take care of people, we wanna bring clean water, we want to bring electricity.
Yeah,
We want to do something bigger than ourselves, and, want to contribute, add value to others. So,
so, and we want to raise their education level
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
entire generation,
Crucial.
entire society, so that the society functions in a better way.
Mhm.
And we were like, okay, if we have this mission, how are we going to support this mission? We don't want to go to people and ask for money.
Yeah.
Let's make money so that we can take our foundation to the next level. In a process, yes, we will be, we will be wealthy, but at the same time, it's not like money. How can
It's shared wealth. It's shared wealth.
Yeah, we are not looking how we have enough to sustain ourselves for the rest of our lives. That's not the goal. That's not the goal to make even more money so that we can leave it here for somebody else to enjoy. That's not the goal. Our goal is how can we make a societal impact. So you said it so beautifully that's how the capitalism is evolving. Okay, so
Yeah, Gorman, what can you say? We are almost done about the investment in America, because people, there is some anti-American saying, "Oh no, those are imperialists, those people," and China is. Can you compare America to China in the approach of business? Can you invest in China versus here? Or which way? Where can you feeling more free to do business and keep your money safe?
No, I think I would personally focus, since we are in America, we in Dallas, Texas, so more focused more on the African communities I hear.
Yes.
I spent a few years here. My understanding is that they don't realize that they can constitute a strong economic financial power, to create a synergy in combining finances, so that they can, when they engage individually in investment, they can become a stronger force. Acquiring land which will gain value over the time, where you can build your houses, where you can build commercial centers.
Yes.
You can build a small unit of transformation using the available technology, so that you create the purpose here is not for you to enrich yourself in a selfish way, but to create additional wealth from which you can extract a portion to help people at home. You see, some people have got the idea of you going home, extracting there and coming to build a mansion here for himself. No, how can you here, the resource that you have here, invest in quiet land, invest in business, you gain experience, you master technology, which you can use then to transform your own country. Because you as a human being, you don't just live for yourself, you don't just live for your own pleasure and satisfaction. Actually, in a society, you have meaning. Your existence gains significance in terms of how have you impacted society. Not only in America, where you have to bring value in terms of how do you invest, land, businesses, and so on and so forth, but in terms of also your own home country. What do you invest in? What do you invest in there? How do you bring impact in terms of businesses and education? Education is the key. Like one of the best reggae singer, Lucky Dube. Education is the key. Education is the key, and education that is targeted in terms of saying we will educate the generation to master technology. We will educate this generation here to master IT, military art of the military. Statesmanship. Like leadership, like applied to developing a state that's efficient, not strong.
Statesmanship.
Statesmanship, like to use Adam Smith concept. Statesmanship, like you know how in terms of how do you design the machinery of the state, how to use technology in running an efficient state, algorithms, softwares, which can help you conduct follow-up, not use software in terms of become a police state like in China. I admire Chinese, but to oppress, like identify people, know where they are going. But use technology, softwares for an efficient art of governance in terms of follow-up, monitoring of your milestones and key performance indicators. And so you can't manage a country. You wake up one morning, they tell you, oh, that project of a bridge, they were supposed to have built like a 30%, they are lagging behind 15%, and the money is already depleted by 70%. And then you work out how is possible. So so education is one of the tools that a transformational leadership uses to direct. That's why it's called government. The primary, the root word of the concept of government is gobernare in Greek. It's the stern, like in a boat, that gives you direction. Whatever your power, whatever you 100,000 horsepower is whatever, but the stern will give direction.
A small thing.
Governare. Yeah. Wow. So that's the point. Education, because if you see, we Congolese or Africans who are in America, they will sit around TV and what. But when they show you pictures of kids studying under a mango tree, it's heartbreaking. Yet people can put $1, $2, and you invest, it generates revenue, and you have some you can use a savings here to invest in a business, and a portion you do like a real developmental American capitalist, where you contribute toward transforming society. You give a part to society.
Coach, you had governor for so long. We shall have a dinner before you leave. Have a community. A lot of time we look for angel.
Wow.
And the angel will come so many times and we will miss the visitation.
Yes.
Because sometimes we design what we want an angel to look like, what an angel is supposed to say, and yet we need a message from an angel. I think you have such a great, powerful message and something to say to the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
something to say.
He was saying, he was talking, and I was so mesmerized. I was like, there was a reason why he was the governor.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he did great for this society.
If the last day he still have maybe we should have a great dinner and have a couple hundred people, so they can, one message change people's life. I remember the day I sat in the church. Matter of fact, I came from the nightclub to the church. And John C. Maxwell, I don't know how it happened.
From nightclub.
Yeah, nightclub, from the nightclub to the church.
After Danny saying,
Yeah.
you still had some energy left for you to go to church.
No, I think that's where I used to sleep. So I would go sit in the back and have my black dog glass and go to sleep. But just to make a long thing short, a man called John C. Maxwell was a guest speaker. He spoke, and he caught my attention so much I was not able to sleep even though I was tired. And at the end, he says, "Your past have nothing to do with your future. Everything that have to do with your future is going to be one decision, and you can decide right now and chase the future that you always dreamed."
Wow.
I was sick. I went home. Everything changed. I make stop on so many things in my life, and I started pursuing. So I'm just saying that we all have that one encounter sometime, and I believe our community needs to hear. You know what what you actually onboarded. You know, you're not just teach us from a book. Believe that, and like Coach say, President said, you know, you're in between two generations. We have the generation that is disconnected from some value, and even some of the hope it dropped because we have no reference point again, and because of that, sometimes we think we are from nowhere, and there's no hope, and it's all over, and a lot of people really believe. And today we are burning ourselves emotionally, physically, our mind, and all that, and we are really lose the generation, particularly Africans in the diaspora. Yeah, so it's just amazing.
Yeah, because people say, "Oh, Americans, you know, no." They say, "Oh, you are brainwashed." I said, "No, look. The difference between you and I is that you've encountered Americans in America. I have lived with Americans in the province when I was a young man in Kinshasa, the Peace Corps volunteers, the Presbyterian missionaries, the Baptist missionaries, the Methodist missionaries. So, and even come and say, "Oh, the Americans want to balkanize the Americans, imperialists," particularly in South Africa, because you know South Africa intellectuals, they are more communist and so on. But I think there are things that we can learn from Americans.
Wow.
We're not going to be like sort of made to transform ourselves into little Americans, but there are things that we can learn. Because as you said so eloquently, they passed all these Puritan on the Mayflower boat. I mean, didn't determine the future. They created a big country. When they were leaving England, they were destitute.
Yep.
They were indigent people. You know, coming here. They were not rich men with a suit full of
money,
gold to go and invest. No, they came. They worked hard. They vision
to build
this country. So when Americans tend to want to protect their country, I understand. I understand they suffer.
Yeah.
If they can show you a picture of how many Americans died over there's a story that the first people who came to Virginia company and so on and so forth, one of them, John something, left his family, his wife, his children, and a few people, went back to England. When he came back 7.5 later, all of them disappeared, killed.
Wow.
You know? So, and we have also, of course, I apologize if I speak more as a republic, sort of quote unquote concern, but land is sacred, nation is sacred. Because you produce it, you work hard, you sacrifice something.
Yeah.
And India is one of the greatest example. Is the greatest example in all areas: technology, chemistry. What they send even satellite.
has a rich, it used to be the world power,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
before,
world trade used to be happening in India.
Mhm.
before the British went there, India was an empire before they created the British
They can, yeah.
British Empire.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
The empire of India was empire.
Mm.
Even before the last empire, the Latin, all that,
Yeah.
they are recent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm. So India is one of the old civilization.
Yes,
also.
of course.
They're old,
Of course,
very old.
of
I
course.
mean, when you look back, the civilization that even create, number, math, and all
Yeah.
this. I mean, this was way.
Mhm.
People was not even counting, so you didn't know how many people was in this room.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero was invented.
Zero was
Yeah,
the.
so, yeah.
Oh yes. Yes.
Invented.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Okay, so this was just the way to get connected with Governor.
Yeah.
Is you can feel
Yeah.
what he has is very strong and very deep.
Yeah.
So, like Coach Raphael said, we can walk out and
Yeah.
see how you can come back because he's going back to DC tomorrow morning, and next month, like the first week of October, you're going back
Yeah,
to
on the
South
fifth.
Africa.
Yeah.
He's a South Africa resident.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No, based on the schedule,
Mhm.
you brought a lot of books.
Yeah, I gave him a few books.
Yeah. Yeah, based on the schedule, we will talk and see,
Okay.
It's easy, this is next door.
Yeah.
We'll send a private jet to bring him.
Yeah,
Yes.
invest,
Yeah,
make more money to buy private jets.
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
No, we can make a good arrangement for me to come back like maybe early next year or early December. Because the American embassy and consulate, it's so packed. They have no availability for interviews. In April, I was trying to get an interview in Johannesburg, but it was completely fully booked until October. So I had to travel to Cape Town
Wow.
to get a visa. So we can make good
yeah,
arrangement because and people just want America to do something for them.
yes.
But how do you interact with America
Mm.
to draw some of the ideas, good practices, and create additional wealth and go to your own country to transform it? America cannot come there and say, okay, I want to, because if they do so, no, they are imperialists
Yes.
and they want to dictate on us how we're supposed to do
Yes,
it.
yes.
You know?
Oh, man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
wow.
It's been a pleasure and an honor to be.
Oh, you know, same,
Yes, thank you.
same, Dr. Amy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity and
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for all your contribution to this free talk.
yeah.
So the next time the governor will be in town,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you'll be
think
welcome.
we'll prepare, we'll set up and start prepare.
Mhm.
We need, we need this, we can read a book, but the spirit of the person is different.
Mhm.
From, today, so many people regret, they wish they met, Ahmad Gaji, from India. So many people regret they didn't meet Dr. King.
Mhm.
So many people regret
Mhm.
they didn't meet John Kennedy.
Um,
They didn't meet Mother Teresa.
Mhm.
We are reading, but those that met him, I mean, everything changed. They are changing the world.
Mhm.
So we have to accept the blessing that have been released to us.
Yes.
Thank you.
he has also a book called The Congo State.
The making of the Congo State in the U.S., a forgotten story, a new project which was
Powerful.
which was prefaced by James Robinson, the author of Why Nations Fail. Because
Why,
James Robinson-
why nation fail?
Why Nations Fail? Because James Robinson, when I was governor, James Robinson, one of the examples that he utilizes to corroborate his thesis, one of the examples is from Jean-Claude's kingdom,
Yes.
Cuba Kingdom.
Was
So the
it-
Cuba Kingdom is here, rich, industrious, but the people are next door, they cater. They're all the same people. They're next door. They are poor, indigent,
Yes.
no industry, but they're next door. So he used to bring some Harvard students to go and see the Cuba Kingdom. So he would
Yeah,
come
from
through-
Harvard here.
From Harvard here.
Going there,
To
yeah.
go
Yeah,
there to
yeah.
study.
So he will go
Yes.
through my province because the Cuba Kingdom is
Yes.
in my province.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that's how I met James Ingram. So the point was that the Congo state, the Congo as we know it, is actually a product of the American Civil War. How? It's because the person who can be considered as the architect, the founders, quote unquote, of the Congo as we know it today, fought in American Civil War. First from the south, then he was captured, he went to the Chicago, and then he fought from Chicago. So he
What was
acquired-
his name?
we called Henry Morton Stanley, but he died as Sir. He was knighted by the Queen of England because he was from Wales. So he fought in the American Civil War, acquired military skills, like he was sharpshooter, and he acquired his experience of survival and their excruciating pain sequence and so on. So he's the one who actually accomplished the world acclaimed circumnavigation of the Congo River from its source up to the mouth in the ocean. So that act, it's the act that led all the Congolese people from the mouth of the Congo River, from this, to know that this river is actually like
Connect us.
Yeah, it's like the Nile that created Egypt.
Mm.
And the first country that said we recognize that territory as a country, as a state, it's not Belgium, it's not the Berlin Conference, it's 42nd President of the United States in the joint sitting of the Congress,
Wow.
who said that place there, that place is a state, and we recognize it as a state, and we ask all Americans to recognize it as a state.
Wow.
And thereafter, they sent a delegation of the State Department, the Secretary of State was Verlingerson.
Verlingerson.
Yeah, they imposed on the Germans to stage the so-called Berlin Conference. Actually, it wasn't called Berlin Conference, it was Congo Conference. To say, okay, Americans have recognized this part as a state. What do we do with the rest?
Oh, you meaning the Africa was not divided.
It was not
The
divided.
first country to be divided was
The-
Congo.
There was one, I call it state or kingdom that had never been conquered. It was
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, all right?
Okay.
And they were like commercial posts or exploration posts of Germans in Cameroon, of British in Nigeria, of French in the Central African Republic, and Leopold II, who was helped by Stanley, in part in the Congo. So it was not like divided as we know it at Berlin Conference. At the Berlin Conference, the Americans, the Secretary of State Verlingerson, went there with a team. This place here is a territory. So what do we do with the rest? So the Germans who were in Cameroon, they say, okay,
This is Cameroon.
this is Cameroon, this is ours. And also in Tanganyika. They took Tanganyika, but Tanganyika was just Tanganyika. It became Tanzania after when they put Tanganyika and Zanzibar together.
Oh.
Yeah. And Cameroon, as you know better than I, when the Germans were defeated, then they gave Cameroon to the French. Yeah, so yeah, that book I published in 20. So yeah.
I need your library.
He has so many
All
books.
those
Yes, he has how many books now?
Oh well, maybe 12.
Now,
Yeah.
I need I'll grab on Amazon
Yeah.
the whole library.
Okay,
Yeah.
like I said, this was now something formal. We just gather here and say, okay, let's talk. And you were with us online. Mr. Katulondi is presenting this book, and you can order it by calling Le Congo est à nous, or you can go on Amazon, Katulondi Iber Kabasubabu. You can see the library, all the books. You can order one, and it is so powerful. As a Congolese, this man is a blessing for our country, because we can talk, but if we don't have a book, one day all this stuff we're gonna forget it. So we need to support him, encourage him doing this because it's intellectual work. So he need to be supported by us. Thank you again, and the whole team. Thank you for your
Thank you.
presence in the
Thank you.
contribution.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Okay. Merci beaucoup.
Asante.
Asante.